Hi everyone, it's time to have a go at your first team investigation, and that means not much help from the teacher this time. I'm afraid you guys are going to have to help yourselves, and in your teams you're going to be working out a little bit how these things work, how they fit together, because that's the first thing we need to know, isn't it? Now you might already know a little bit about these, and obviously the first thing to know is that we have to plug them in. We need a power source to get the lights going. Now, it's a little bit dangerous in an investigation to be playing around with the PowerPoint, so we're not going to do that. We're going to use a smaller power source, and so your teacher's going to provide you with one of these. Now, inside this little blue casing is something you're all very familiar with, I'm sure, the battery. Okay, now these are safe. Okay, but we don't muck around with them. We don't put them in our mouths. We don't do anything silly with them like that. We don't try and open them up because the stuff inside there is a little bit dangerous. There's a chemical in there that we don't want to muck around with, so that's a safety issue. Now, this just sits inside this blue casing here like so. All right, and you've got to make sure that it's put in the right way. Otherwise, you might have some issues there. So check with your teacher if you're not sure. Okay. So that's our power source for our investigation. Now, we've got also here, we've got our globe and we've got some wires, and you're going to find out how you have to connect everything up to make it all work. That's your job for today. So you're going to get a little pack, looks something like this, and inside the pack, we've got a number of items that are going to be useful for you. First of all, here are our task cards. Okay, so your teacher's probably already talked to you about how to use those so that you've got different roles to play within your team. All of those roles are very important, let me tell you. Also, inside this pack, you're going to get a little mini light globe, very similar to the ones that you see here. Okay, a little bit of a different shape, but they'll still work beautifully. Now, this light globe here, I'll just unscrew that so you can see. That's the globe itself, okay, but it sits inside this little casing, and we just keep it screwed in there. The reason we do that is just because it's easier to clip on the wires, and here's an example of the wires here. On the end of this wire, now this is a little bit dangerous. This is called an alligator clip or a crocodile clip, and I'll just hold this up so you can see why. There we go. All right, so we don't want to clip that onto our skin or anybody else's for that matter, because it might be quite painful. Okay, but we can clip these on very easily to the edge of the light globe there. Okay, so that's how they connect up, and you'll find that also on the other end is another crocodile clip, and that'll connect up again to the light globe if you need it to, or it'll connect up to these points on the end of the battery case like that. Okay, so it just makes it easy to connect up. So, in your pack, you've got your light globe, you've actually got two wires which you can use, and what you're going to need to do now is have a think about how you're going to connect everything up to make it work. All right, let me tell you, there are some ways that will and some ways that won't. So you're going to need to go through your scaffold carefully, and you're going to need to draw a diagram of how you think it's going to work. And your teacher might show you an example of that in a moment, but really it's up to you. The other thing that you need to do, of course, is to develop a hypothesis. You need to try to explain why it is that you think your design, your connection, is going to work. Okay, and this hypothesis is important because it explains the science behind why you think the light is going to glow. So the whole point is to get this little guy glowing. Good luck, guys, and enjoy this scientific investigation.